Welcome back to Las Vegas. It's Alex Belfield here in Sin City, featuring the biggest shows, the best restaurants, and the things you need to do when you're here. And frankly, during the summer, it's so hot in Las Vegas, anything that's indoors is always going to be fantastic. And Madame Tussauds is one of the most fun places to visit. It's an international brand, and Cole is the marketing manager. How are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm really good. I've just been through this wonderful sort of cavalcade of stars, one after another after another. And the first thing that struck me was congratulations on your lighting, because the way it's all set up, even if they were bad, which they're not, the pictures look amazing. This is all part of sort of the atmosphere, isn't it? So that you go home with pictures where you could stand next to Britney Spears or Hugh Hefner, a porn star, or Oprah Winfrey.
Absolutely. Lighting is very key, and it makes the photos look really, really nice. A tip for you next time you go into a Madame Tussauds attraction, line up your pictures with the eye line of the figures for even better pictures.
Yeah, I did that, and I noticed because they're all sort of pointed in different ways. I came with my friend Brenda today, who was on the bed with Hugh Hefner. We won't talk too much about this. I've never seen a creepier picture in my life. God bless him.
Hugh Hefner is actually an interesting figure. He's our only wax figure in the attraction, where his face is made of silicone instead of wax. So I guess in essence he's really not a wax figure, but rather a silicone figure, and his body is made out of fiberglass.
Can I ask you if you're having a little joke as we walk in? Because the first one we see is Joan Rivers, and it's interesting that the first waxwork is a lady who's had quite a bit of work done and doesn't really look like herself.
That's funny. I think the purpose of Joan being where she is she's kind of the face of Hollywood for people as they're walking on the red carpet. So she's the first people that conducts interviews with people. So I think the purpose of her being there is you're being interviewed as you're getting ready to have your celebrity experience at Madame Tussauds.
I'm glad we cleared that up. That's perfect. And what's great about the way you do it here in Las Vegas is you've got sections. So we go into the showbiz area with all the pop stars. We've got sporting heroes, and then of course there's a legends section, which is so appropriate for Las Vegas. Everybody from the Rat Pack are there. There's also Liberace, of course, on his piano. And what I love is that you let people get as close and personal as they could possibly get. There's no cordoning off, which is so smart of Madame Tussauds. It's a real event for people and so special.
It's one of the key tenets of our attraction, to be honest. We don't want to be a dusty wax museum where people are behind ropes and there's drapes hanging in there. It has a very old feel to it. We're hip, we're modern, and we want people to be able to experience this attraction up close and personal.
Having said that, though, when you've got Katy Perry stood there, as delicious as she is, you're asking for trouble, aren't you? What do you have to do when this place closes to make sure tomorrow it looks as good as yesterday?
So we do walkthroughs every night, and in the mornings as well. So at night we're checking mainly for cleanliness and things like that, and in the morning our studio figure maintenance people get here very, very early in the morning to make sure that the figures are in tip-top condition, as well as the figures that we stunt throughout the city of Las Vegas.
What I didn't realise that you told me earlier is that headquarters is in Poole in Dorset in the UK, and really this is a multinational business. This is something you take very seriously. As fun as the attraction is, getting it right is so important, and every little detail goes into these waxwork, doesn't it? From the clothing to the jewellery, and of course the face, which we need to recognise, and even the hair.
Absolutely. So our business headquarters is based in Poole. Our figures, every single one of our figures is actually made in Acton in West London. So every single one is made just out there, and every figure is made either from a sitting or from research, and we do obviously pay very close attention to every wrinkle, every dimple, and every crease of the skin.
I was saying when I came in, there must be no greater thrill than finding out you've got a Madame Tussauds waxwork that's going to be there. Equally, there must be no more depressing moment when you phone up and say, I'm sorry, we're taking you out because you're no longer relevant.
I haven't had to have any of those conversations myself, fortunately, and I don't know that we do provide that courtesy. When we do retire figures, it is a very graceful way of doing it.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because it could be sort of soul-destroying, couldn't it, if you're there one day and gone the next?
We take our figures that sometimes maybe not be as relevant as they were previously, and a lot of times we'll move them to the rooms that you mentioned previously, so like the legends of whatever city you're in. In Las Vegas, we have Siegfried and Roy, the Rat Pack, those kinds of people that are so iconic to the city, and that's why each Madame Tussauds attraction that you go to has its unique flair and its own flavor. So just because you've been to one doesn't mean you've been to them all.
I noticed that there was Chris Angel in there, an old pal of mine from Las Vegas. It's important that you stay with the times and keep topical, because everybody wants to be with the new star, and although they may not be there in 20 years' time up there with the Rat Pack, you've got to include the Jenna Jamesons, the Lindsay Lohans, people like that.
Definitely. The flavor of each attraction is really dictated by the city that we're in, so we try to stay as authentic and as true to the city that we're in to really provide that unique experience.
Well, thank you for having me here today. It's been a real pleasure. And of course, as you leave, there's the gift shop where you can take a bit of Madame Tussauds home with you. Congratulations on this. You're at the Venetian, which is the greatest hotel in the world. It's certainly the biggest hotel in the world. And I mean, from the minute you arrive here, it's a show, isn't it? And you sort of are on the side of the beautiful facade where you've got the gondoliers going past with the guys singing. I mean, it's a real event to come to the Venetian.
Absolutely. Every last detail for the Venetian is Italian through and through. You feel like you stepped out of Las Vegas into a completely different place, which is a really fun experience. So we're very happy to be here at the Venetian for 15 years now.
Wow. Congratulations. Cole, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for coming today.